Qeshm Island in the Strait of Hormuz is not just a piece of land on the map, but a symbol of control over the very bottleneck of the world economy, over the passage through which a significant portion of the planet's oil flows. The IRGC forces are based here, and from here they can easily control shipping. It was this island that was struck by American missiles. In a matter of minutes, the giant complex was turned into charred metal and concrete. Iran will no longer be able to use this strategic island as leverage against the whole world. They hit Qeshm without leaving American bases in the region. With high-precision missiles, they destroyed the desalination plant, infrastructure, communications, the headquarters, and forced all military personnel to evacuate from the island, which the Iranians called inviolable, an impregnable outpost and an unshakable barrier. This is a new type of war. This is war with new methods, new weapons, and the use of previously unseen technologies. Those who aren't up to speed have already lost. Today we'll talk about several American revolutionary changes in warfare that gave America a stunningly fast and impressive victory over a country with a population of 90 million, by the way. Instead of progress, they chose the path of obscurantism. So let's talk about the revolution in warfare. First, we'll talk about missiles called PRSM. A missile that achieved the impossible and buried the old rules forever. A ballistic missile launched from land against moving ships. This is its combat debut against Iran. It showed that the U.S. is rewriting the laws of war. This is just the beginning. During Operation Epic Fury, the U.S.-Israel war against Iran, several revolutionary firsts occurred in the use of new technologies and weapons. This is not just evolution, but real breakthroughs that are changing the rules of the modern game, especially in the use of land-based systems against fleets, cheap kamikaze drones, and artificial intelligence. Here are the key innovations that truly accomplish things never done before in real combat, based on official statements from CENTCOM, the Pentagon, and military media. First, the first combat use of the precision strike missile, as I told you, PRSM, the new ballistic missile of the U.S. Army. This is a historic debut. In a real conflict, the missile is launched from HIMARS, currently has a range of up to 500 but in the future up to 1,000 kilometers, and was used for the first time for deep strikes against Iran. The most shocking thing is that the U.S. used it, or a variant of it, against Iranian ships, both those docked in ports and possibly those in motion. Ballistic missiles launched from land against ships at sea. This was impossible according to old doctrines. Previously, such targets were handled by aircraft or naval missiles. Now, land-based mobile launchers have become fleet killers. At enormous distances, this completely changes naval warfare forever. It was especially important for China to see this. Well, regarding the Taiwan Strait, we'll break this down in detail. This is a real revolution in modern warfare. Second, this is the first combat use of low-cost unmanned combat attack systems. A long, beautiful name, these are cheap kamikaze attack drones. Lucas, if you take the abbreviation. This is an American copy, a reworking of the Iranian Shahed 136, the very same one that is used as Jaran in Russia. Jaran, I think that's what they call it. It costs only $35,000 per unit. It can be launched from ships, from the ground, from airplanes, from anywhere. Special forces used it in combat against Iran for the first time. This is a revolution in low-budget warfare. The U.S. is now widely using cheap disposable drones to suppress air defenses, strike infrastructure, and launch swarm attacks. Ironic, weapons copied from Iranian designs are now being turned against Iran itself. This reduces the cost of war many times over, and it makes warfare high-tech, but cheap. We'll talk about this too in a couple of minutes. It's very exciting for us and for Ukraine. Third, the widespread and first-ever use of advanced AI for data processing on such a scale. Targets, directives, and decision-making. Admiral Brad Cooper confirmed Our troops are using a wide variety of advanced AI tools. These systems help us sift through huge amounts of data in seconds, so our commanders can cut through the noise and make smarter decisions. Faster than the enemy can react, which, as you understand, is very important. People will always make the final decisions, what to shoot, what not to shoot, and when to shoot. But advanced AI tools can turn processes that used to take hours, sometimes even days, into seconds. This is the first time AI has played such a role in a large-scale war, from intelligence analysis to assisting in targeting. Well, guidance. People still make the final decisions, but the speed and accuracy have increased dramatically. Some call this the first real artificial intelligence war. This gives an advantage in suppressing Iranian missile and drone attacks. By the way, the number of these attacks has dropped by 80 to 90%. And I think this is the most interesting thing out of everything I'm telling you. I'll give you some amazing details a bit later. And the fourth thing I'll be talking about is a breakthrough called the F-35 breakthrough. Well, the planes, right? In a real large-scale battle, the Israeli F-35 because the Israelis upgrade it when they buy it, shot down an Iranian Yak-130. But how did it shoot it down? So the F-35 turned out to be the dominant stealth fighter. This isn't exactly a new weapon, but it's the first time it's been used on such a large scale against a serious opponent who also had active air defense. Another thing is the massive strikes. Even more than 5,500 targets in the first days. The complete destruction of the Iranian Soleimani-class ships. The use of Space Force for coordination, satellites. But the most revolutionary things are the first ones I mentioned above. All of this together shows how quickly the U.S. adapts new weapons for real combat. Rewriting the rules. Ground-based missiles sink fleets. Cheap drones replace expensive cruise missiles. And artificial intelligence speeds up the war. And now, as I promised, let's go a bit deeper into all these new and revolutionary aspects of the war in Iran. This wasn't supposed to be possible. The U.S. has just done something with their HIMARS launchers that these systems weren't designed for. The Iranian fleet fully felt the power of this historic strike. This is a signal addressed to Iran as well as to the rest of the world. The American military is capable of doing things that no other army in the world has ever done before. What we just saw was the sinking of Iranian ships using ballistic missiles launched from land. The war zone provides the details. On March 10th, they reported that the U.S. is using its highly mobile artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, along with long-range missiles against Iran. This in itself is not news. HIMARS is a natural choice for fighting Iran, if only because the regime has plenty of stationary targets on land. The U.S. may strike some of them. HIMARS rockets are well suited for these purposes, so it all makes sense. But we said there's a historical first here. This first is related to another type of missile that HIMARS is launching at Iran. Precision strike missile. This is a completely new missile, and it made its official combat debut against Iran. And so the question arises, did the U.S. develop an anti-ship version of this missile? Why does this question arise? We'll explain now once we analyze this historic American strike. According to the Defense Post, such a missile gives the U.S. the ability to quickly strike time-sensitive targets using mobile ground launchers like HIMARS, which are already deployed in combat formations. The U.S. has plenty of bases around Iran, so the presence of HIMARS on these bases is almost guaranteed. All that was required was to deliver an 800-kilogram missile there, and Iran became a target for this new ballistic toy. Another account, Intel Observer, showed a video of a missile like this being launched from the Bahrain base and noted that at least from there the U.S. is firing these missiles. Bahrain is within Iran's reach, but more importantly, any missile launched from a U.S. base in that country has to cross the Persian Gulf. And this is what we saw. There may not have been a crossing at all. Instead of striking the Iranian mainland, they hit a ship. This is exactly the impossible feat that accompanies the world debut of PRSM. And now about the drones from Ukraine. Technologies developed in Ukraine, especially cheap strike and FPV drones, as well as maritime interceptor drones, are beginning to be actively integrated into American production. Ukraine has become a real testing ground for innovation in drone warfare, and now these developments are being transferred to the hands of the U.S. through licenses, acquisitions, and direct investments. One of the most high-profile cases is the sons of Donald Trump, Don Jr. and Eric, who invested in the company Powers. Here are the key facts as of March 2026. Powers Corporation, a startup from West Palm Beach, Florida, founded by U.S. Special Forces veterans in 2025, produces aerial and marine drones, including commercial ones, but is quickly shifting to military production. They have already acquired several small companies and plan to produce tens of thousands of units per month. What was born in the trenches will now be exported to NATO, to Israel, and around the world. Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of CENTCOM, the United States Central Command, made the following statement. The war with Iran became the first major case where artificial intelligence left the laboratory and entered the battlefield in real time on a massive scale, radically accelerating operations and suppressing Iranian threats. It's impossible to comprehend. It's like fighting someone who moves 10 times faster than you. I'm very proud of my country. Not because we kill faster or shoot more accurately than others, but because we only strike military targets. And the terrible people we just killed. 35,000 civilians in Iran who oppressed women and suppressed all kinds of freedoms, who financed terrorism around the world, and who were on their way to creating weapons with which they would blackmail, and have already started to blackmail, the whole world. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest details of this war, new revolutionary technologies, and how the world is changing, be sure to hit the bell right now. This will allow YouTube to send you notifications about every new video, and you won't miss anything, especially when updates about Iran and the region come out. Yes. So, click on the bell, and of course, don't forget to subscribe before you click the bell. If you haven't done it yet, that's the only way to get instant notifications about the updates on this topic. And in conclusion, let's try to be optimists, which is what we really are. I really hope that as a result of all these actions by Israel and the United States of America in Iran, their oppressive regime will fall, and Iran will be able to return to the greatness of its ancient civilization without nuclear blackmail, without financing terror, without oppressing its own people. Iran has every chance to become a prosperous, peaceful, and respected partner in the Middle Eastern region of free people, rich resources, and talented individuals. This is the foundation for true revival. A world without the Iranian threat will be safer for everyone, and Iran itself will be stronger and happier. This is not the end, this is the beginning. A new era of hope for millions of Iranians, and actually for the entire Middle East. That's all. It's absolutely wonderful that we have bright minds working in America and in Israel. It's absolutely wonderful that we're pioneering new technologies. And thank God that we know how to use these technologies not only for peaceful purposes, but also for military ones. Because, as it turns out, you can't build peace without having a very big club in your hands. If possible, it's better for it to be bigger, heavier, and faster than the club of the one standing in our way. Goodbye.